Hi, my name is Princess, William Lyon Mackenzie's pony, and I am here to tell you what happened in December of 1837. So, a group of rebels, led by my rider Mackenzie, decided to take over Toronto. Mackenzie was upset with the government practices and the family compact because the rich were being favored, so he used his newspaper to voice his opinion. I was also upset because I wasn't part of a rich family. I wanted more oats, grass, a bigger field, and servants to look after me and treat me like the princess that I am. I still didn't want to have anything to do with the rebellion, since there would be guns and death involved. Since most of the British troops were off fighting in Lower Canada, Mackenzie and his rebels decided it was the perfect time to rebel. Mackenzie forced me to go with him, and he got over 2,000 men to sign a petition agreeing to rebel, and they made a plan to meet at Montgomery's Tavern. At the last minute, Mackenzie changed the date of the rebellion and got me up in the middle of the night, taking me away from my beauty sleep to get me ready for the rebellion. So, only about 500 men showed up at the tavern. Look, there's me over there looking very unhappy, with my rider who forced me to be part of this stupid rebellion. Well, actually, it isn't that stupid, because I did want more land and extra care, but the battle, that just made me unhappy. The first gunshot went off when Colonel Moody was killed, because of his plans to tell Governor Bondhead about the rebels' plans to rebel. But Bondhead never found out the rebels' plans, and he slept through the whole rebellion at his home in York. At that point, I was ready to run away. I didn't want to have any part of this rebellion. It was scary. I needed to get out of there. At Montgomery's Tavern, many of the rebels got drunk, and some were so drunk that they could barely walk. Mackenzie was so drunk that he became angry, and he forced me to continue down Yonge Street. I watched Mackenzie line up his men. He put the ones with guns in front. Next came the men with pitchforks and other weapons, and finally came the men who were so drunk they could barely walk. The rebels continued to march down Yonge Street, and I could hear the protests of my fellow horses. Anyway, when we reached the potato field, we met a small group of British soldiers. Mackenzie used me to ride around and prepare his men for battle. The first line of rebels shot, and then ducked down to reload their guns. At this point, I was ready to disappear. I had had enough of this nonsense. Why couldn't they just talk about it and solve their problems? The rebels who were lined up behind them thought that they had been shot, so they ran away. I was happy to leave the battle, and Mackenzie and I fled to the United States. The rebels returned to their farms, and likewise the British troops returned to Toronto. I was told that Sheriff Jarvis was the last person on the battlefield, so it was said that he won the battle that day. My friend Samuel Lount, who always stuck me extra carrots, along with his colleague Peter Matthews, were hung for their involvement in the rebellion, as an example to the other rebels. I was left alone for a whole entire 11 months during Mackenzie's jail sentence in the United States. I met a kind young girl who brought me oats every day, and I was happy. He told me once that being in jail had broken his spirit. After his jail sentence, Mackenzie was much kinder to me, and he took me back to York and promised me that he would never rebel again.